I had a lot of fun playing The Sims. Honestly, more than I was expecting, but we can't keep doing something forever, and after all, we got our goal done. The goal from the start had been to create a custom character loosely based on me, and then take that character from young adulthood to the end of his life. It's basically the way that I, and I'm sure so many others, played it as a kid, and like so many others, abandoned it long before it was done. This time though, we got it done. With it done, and that goal completed, it's time to move on to another Paradox game, but this is no Crusader Kings 3. Those who've been around for a while may remember I've done the odd video on Cities Skylines before, but I've never done my goal. Like The Sim, I imagine this goal is the way a lot of people would start the game, me simply wanting to create a beautiful and successful city. So let's give this a go. The first step was picking a map, which I'll admit took a lot longer than I was expecting, and then we begin. We start by building a road, and then the water and the sewage system. Honestly, a lot of this is me just kind of trying to remember how to play the game. It's been a long time since I have. Once the water system is done, it's time to move over to wind farms for electricity and get that sorted. And then I delete all the houses for the electricity part. Yep. There was literally just one house left by the end of that. That was such a facepalm moment, I fully just started again. I didn't necessarily have to, but honestly I wasn't super happy with the map I'd chosen or how I started, so felt like as good a reason as any to start again. This time I was smarter and started by building a proper road network before the standard infrastructure stuff. Then I planned out the basic roads and zones, built the wind farms and the electricity network. This time in a way that didn't delete all my property. I know it's a crazy thing to do, not to delete all your work, just to put in the electricity. And then I just got to sit back and watch as shops, industry and homes started to spawn in before I began my first real sort of expansion, building another large road. With that done, I wasn't really sure where to go from here, so I decided to check my old world. And I didn't really get far, did I? I mean, this is what I did for the old world, and it's pretty small. I didn't do much. I'd forgotten how little I did. This time, I will do better. As part of Project Do Better, I decided this city needs a proper industrial zone, and around where the wind farms are seems like an excellent place for it. Keep the industry out of the main area. I replaced what little we have with more shops, moving the industrial area outside of where people actually live. I also then expand the roads because it seems all our level ups are based around population, so we better get some. I also start renaming the roads and such because, well, I want to rename them after subscribers, past series, etc. Hence the reason we have names that may not make a lot of sense to outsiders, like Madam Plot Lane and Chris Pixel Street, but to those who know, they know. This was also where I discovered cinematic mode, and I will admit, I like my little village. It's not the bustling city I want it to be, but I like what it is now. It's time for it to become so much more, especially because we got our first level up and our first load of upgrades. I began with a landfill since, well, it's not pretty, but it's needed. I also built some other necessary bits, doctor's offices and so on. I also at this point started to upgrade the roads because I realised, although most of the ones I made were dual carriageways, I also made a few single track roads, and that wasn't necessarily smart. Had to destroy a lot of buildings to do it, but the upgrades were necessary. Progress continued well, and we are finally worthy. Specifically, we are considered a worthy village. It's the first time this has popped up. Apparently we have actually done one before, it just didn't work then. It's great to see how we're progressing in this. At this point I realised that I didn't know how well this is going to do as a series, but I definitely made the right choice because I'm starting to love this little city and all the cool things we're building. We hit a point though where if we want to break 1,000 people we're going to have to do an expansion, so I just built a housing estate. I also thought our first house fire. Oh dear, we built a firehouse but it turns out it's nowhere near whole. So I need to build more than one of those? It could have been useful to know that before, but oh well, it's sorted. The house is gutted, but hey, at least the fire didn't spread. God, more fires. It's like bloody Sims all over again. Anyway, I also built a countdown clock too, which, what is this counting down to? I hope it's not counting down to the apocalypse or something, but who knows? This is also the point I realised that, hey, I can actually expand my territory. So I did. I doubled my land. Unfortunately, the land I ended up getting is quite hilly and mountainous and doesn't have a lot of uses, but for now I just put a road there. Oh yeah, remember the expansion? Do you know what I never did? Give them plumbing and electricity. Oh well, didn't stop us officially becoming a town. Before I celebrate that success though, I kind of need to fix that. And with this sorted, I finally start building the new buildings, like things like a public library and high schools. We can also build green spaces now. We didn't really have those, so now we're getting them. I also moved down the sewage to where nobody lives, and that just makes sense. Have to run a load of infrastructure to a place where no one lives, but it was worth it. Shame about the sewage just left, but I will build a water purification plant to fix it when I can, just can't for a while. In more positive news though, you have to admit, this place does look pretty dope. Another day, another massive expansion. After all, we need all these places for people to live if we want to become a proper town. And I did. I am now a boom town. We can also now have weed, so yay. Also actual new buildings and stuff, which is an important thing. As we're growing, we're going to need a place to stick dead people, so here's a cemetery. Also things like elder and childcare, since, you know, we don't really want to use the cemetery unless we have to. I also do another expansion, this time outwards, and I know we're not going to build a ton out here, but this is more for industry and electrical output. This is also where I decided to build my first wind farm at sea to increase my power output. I've never had an issue with a lack of electricity or water really, but that's why we're going to continue expanding this to make sure we don't. I also expanded the industry since, well, we have room to and I could use the money. We have infinite money, which I didn't mean to set up, it must have been left over from before, but having an actual money total means we can see how well we're doing, and we're very much in the negative. One of my barometers for this being a successful city is that it is actually profitable, and we're not there yet. We're starting to hit that point in the game where we're getting growing pains, specifically traffic. The traffic problems around here were insane, and the only way to really improve it was to widen the road. So I did. We also started to hit issues with a lack of educated workers because there weren't enough schools, but we also don't have enough room in the neighbourhoods that need them to build them. This is called not forward planning enough. I eventually solved it by changing the road layout a bit, having to remove some houses and then enough room to put the school in. We also need to be able to get people around, so I start building some bus routes and the like. It's not exactly a small village you can walk around anymore. With one final housing expansion, which I'm going to redo next time, but yeah, next time problem, I decided now is the time to call it quits. We've made a good start. We are now a bustling town. Next time? Beats me. I've never gotten this far in the game before. I'm looking forward to next time. I'm very curious to see what happens, and I'm very curious to know what you all think. So let me know in those comments down below. My name is EvolvedPixel. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.